I think we played as a full unit. We put a game together finally, and we played physical up front at the point of attack. Both the linebackers and the defensive line. And we established the line of scrimmage, and I think that helped.
Coach Madison was particularly pleased with the way you played in that game. Is there something that clicked for you going into that one that helped?
I'd say during the week we worked on our footwork a lot, kind of slowing it down, and just getting back to the basics. And I think going back to that kind of helped us. Once we kind of had our fundamentals back underneath us, it helped us play a lot faster, and helped us make better reads and things like that.
What specifically about the footwork did you guys change?
I think beforehand we were doing a lot of running as opposed to shuffling and kind of playing slower and seeing what you saw. And before we were kind of making an initial read and kind of running at it, and sometimes we were getting sucked up in there and things like that. So that was kind of hurting us.
Could you sense it as the game was going on that you guys were starting to click?
Yeah, I just think we felt more comfortable with one another. I think as we went through that game, especially, we knew where each other were going to be at a lot of the time, and we felt like we were in the right spot at the right time, whereas opposed to previous games, we were kind of, there's some hesitation and things like that. But I think during that game it kind of clicked for us a little bit, and just being comfortable playing with one another.
With the way the offense was struggling a little bit to move the ball, did you guys kind of take it upon yourselves? We need to keep stopping them. It's our game at this point.
Always, that's a goal of the defense. Give up obviously as least amount of points as possible, and we work as a team. We got to have the offense's back no matter what. Whatever they're doing, and we knew every time that there was a sudden change where we had to go back on the field where it was unexpected. We had to stop and keep them out of the end zone.
Are there similarities to the improvement through 4 games this year to last year?
I think it's a different team, and I think there's a different feeling about it. So, I'm not one to really compare this year to last year. But, there definitely has been an improvement made. And like I said, even through that last game, just the comfort level with one another has really helped.
Are you able to tell whether that's turning a corner or is just one game and now you got to figure out?
I think it's something we can't let happen to be one game. It has to be something that's consistent and persist throughout the season, especially as we enter the Big Ten season now. And, it's something that we can't just try to rest our hats on one game or, kind of hang on that. But we got to keep moving forward, and we got to keep getting better. We can't be satisfied with where we're at by any means either.
Did you watch Purdue over the weekend?
We did. Yep.
Thoughts on their offense?
Yeah, they're quick. They're having 40, 42 points a game. They're a high-scoring, high-powered offense, and that's something we got to slow down. And they run some quick tempo things and stuff like that. So that's something that we got to adapt to and be ready to stop.
How are you health-wise, Desmond?
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Yeah.
What's the?
It was just a little head thing in practice. Just got knocked and was a little out of it for a little bit. So a lot of it was precautionary, just doctors, just making sure and everything. But haven't had any symptoms or anything like that since, and been feeling all good. I don't think they came out and said the word concussion. To me, at least, it was just something they're kind of precautionary.
How did it happen?
It was just in practice. Got just rattled a little bit, just took a hit, and one that I maybe didn't see, and just rattled up a little bit. And like I said, a lot of it was precautionary.
Were you scared? I mean, when people because people when you have a head injury, people don't know when it's going to be. When it's going to clear, how long that's going to take?
Personally, I haven't had a head injury before, so I didn't know what to expect, I guess, going into it. But, the doctors were real upfront and, positive and honest throughout the whole thing. And, I was real upfront and, told them exactly how I was feeling every day and things like that. I don't think I was scared or reserved after, having it happen, or especially coming back. Football is football. It's going to happen. Just like, you twist an ankle or something like that, you can't be sensitive running when you come back.
Sense an excitement in the locker room about the Big Ten season, kind of a new start?
Definitely. The goal since day one has been win the Big Ten championship, and we're starting the Big Ten season now, and now it really begins. It was nice to have this bye week this last week, kind of almost just take a step back, take a breath, and say, all right, let's go. This is the Big Ten season. We got to get to it. So I think everyone's really amped up, and we're ready to go.